What is the future of Cyberpunk 2077, considering it is run by CD Projekt Red, one of the most woke and insane lying companies currently in gaming? They won a literal woke award, by the way. I can't stress this enough. They actually won a real tangible woke award. Parts of their company have cut themselves off and created a new studio because they did not agree with the direction that CDPR went into, aka the woke shenanigans and stupidity. Witcher 4 looks like an absolute disaster area. The CEO is literally non-stop lying about the fact that, oh, no one from our company has left. All the people who made your games are still here, which is a blatantly provable falsehood, because someone compared the people who are currently working there and who previously worked with the stuff that was good. Half of them are literally gonzo. It's not looking good. It's just not looking good for the future of Cyberpunk and Witcher.
Since Phantom Liberty dropped back in September 2023, Cyberpunk has seen a steady release of "We are done" to "We are back" announcements. In April into May of 2024, we saw a consistent publication of headlines touting that Cyberpunk 2077's development had officially ended, as CDPR had announced that The Witcher 4 had moved into full production. However,
let me explain this. First time when I've heard of when they released a new patch after saying we're done was pretty cool. Then they released another one. Then they released another one. And then they released another one. And yeah, this is just marketing. At the third patch, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is just marketing, okay? They're saying they're not working on it, but they're actually releasing new stuff to constantly trying to farm that cred of being a good company. One thing that CDPR did learn from the disaster release of Cyberpunk 2077, it is how to get your credibility back and what people like. People like when they feel that, you know, they are respected. AKA updates in a game that no longer should be getting updates. Pretty simple, honestly.
However, since that announcement, Cyberpunk has continued to push out new updates, with the two most recent, 2.2 and 2.21, coming from Virtuous Games, a hired third-party studio, and both updates were surprise announcements. Update 2.2 was teased a day before release and was pushed live in tandem with a red stream, ushering in all sorts of community-requested features like more Johnny, an unlocked and enhanced photo mode, more character customization options, a host of fixes, and even increases to the Crystal Coat and Twin Tone libraries. From what was said during that live stream, where both Virtuous and the Cyberpunk team revealed Update 2.2, this didn't sound like it was going to be a one-off thing either.
And maybe we still have a surprise or two left for you. Maybe.
Taking a look at the potential for future Cyberpunk updates led us to this prior statement made by Mikhail Nowakowski, joint CEO of CD Projekt, when he said, "Work on Polaris is progressing. Its development team is nearing a major milestone, which will mark the end of the pre-production phase. This first half of the year..."
If you're not caught up, by the way, Polaris is the code name for the next version of Cyberpunk, whatever. It's not gonna... So, Cyberpunk 2077 2, if you will. Actually, it's supposed to be a prequel, I guess, if I remember correctly. But Project Polaris is Cyberpunk, effectively.
Here was also a busy period for our Boston studio, which is laying the groundwork for Project Orion.
No. Orion was the Cyberpunk thing. Polaris was Witcher. Whatever. I get these things mixed up. But yeah, they have stupid code names for everything, which doesn't make really sense because they reveal what the code names are, so why?
A new game set in the Cyberpunk universe. And bear in mind, Nowakowski made this announcement during the company's November 2024 earnings call nearly 3 months ago. But what does it actually all mean? Well, first is the potential for another update to hit Cyberpunk, possibly just a little later this month, as past updates have come in between previous investors' calls, and the next one of these is scheduled for late this month on March 25th. And as you would expect during these calls, investors want to know.
Yeah, BlackRock wants to know what's happening. By the way, there are rumors about BlackRock cutting their DEI and shit. Please. Please. BlackRock is a fundamental part of the World Economic Forum. They're not cutting their DEI. They're just doing that so Trump doesn't look into them and all of that shit. DEI is not going anywhere, boys. Don't you worry about a thing, okay?
Know what the vision is for the company, but more importantly, what is CD Projekt's vision for the future and how will that translate into dollars generated? Quickly, for a bit of context here, this is a company that delivered a game in Cyberpunk 2077 that suffered incredibly at launch, and it was riddled with performance problems. And according to reports, CD Projekt has spent a reported $125 million in development costs to not only complete the game, but turn it into the juggernaut you see today, including the release of the...
That is a lot, but they have made all of their money back, I'm pretty sure, at this point. Well, they have money at least at this point, I should say. Because remember, no one talks about this, so I'm constantly mentioning this. When Cyberpunk 2077 launched, CDPR got sued in a lot of ways. And 3 lawsuits were such that they can't win. One was lying to the investors because they blatantly lied to the investors. So that is one loss, and keep in mind, all of these losses are huge. CDPR Red, after the disaster of Cyberpunk 2077, should, for all accounts, be out of business. There is no fucking way they're not sold for spare parts. The second one was... I don't remember them all, but I remember that there were 3 lawsuits. That they 100% can't win. They probably went for settlements because there's no reason even to fight them. They just can't win. And there's 3 lawsuits at the same time. They're fucked. Okay? If they don't settle that, they can't even... They don't have a future. Because that would require too much, input from people at power just being in courts and whatnot. And this is my speculation where some kind of BlackRock, Chase Bank, JP Morgan or something like that came in and said, hey buddy, want some money? We got money. We got a lot of money. How about we give you some of this money? You just need to do a couple of things. You just need to change a couple of things, And then it's all fine, It's not a big deal. And voila. I mean, we have literally seen this same scenario almost. Well, it's not. It's slightly different because Armor Horse, War Horse, the people who made Kingdom Come Deliverance, those people, they got forced into bending the knee. Their studio got bought and they were forced to put the woke shit into the game. Because, again, money and owning and things like that. Again, it's either you get fired and they replace you with some loyal puppy who's gonna do everything they say, obviously. Or you try to minimize the damage. And I think that happened to Warhorse. I think this has happened to CDPR Red. It is what it is.
Highly anticipated Phantom Liberty expansion, helping to mend the bridges between player base and studio, ultimately pushing the game back to overwhelmingly positive ratings on Steam. But I digress. The question again was dollars generated and how to keep the investors investing, especially since the company is some years from releasing anything new to market. And here's where CD Projekt's focus on long-term sustainability comes into play. You see, the current franchise releases for both The Witcher and Cyberpunk have to sustain the company through 2025, possibly into 2026, and one way to do that is with smaller, more focused updates. Adding in community-requested features to say Cyberpunk 2077 or The Witcher 3 renews enthusiasm for the product. The release of the official Red Kit modding tools for The Witcher.
He's actually completely right. This is the stuff I said about at the start about, oh, we're not gonna update Cyberpunk. Here's an update, here's an update, here's an update again. It's just a PR stunt.
3 in May of 2024 is just one example of this strategy, and it could be one of the items released to modders for Cyberpunk 2077 in the next update, possibly later this month. Nowakowski has already publicly stated his affinity for modding when he said this during an investors call.
When it comes to any future things, Cyberpunk, anything related, I mean, once we have something on our hands, we will definitely talk about that. But in general, I would indicate that community-created content by means of mods, enabled and powered by really well-prepared tools, is something we are fond of, and we do see value in that, in how we interact with the fans.
And by releasing those official mod tools, it also creates a stream of players engaging with both the mods and with their community-created content. More players playing means more buzz around the product, and that, my friends, creates dollars. And so begins the cycle of attracting and keeping investors happy. Now, the fact that Cyberpunk has this many mods and so many hardcore modders creating virtually whatever you can think of for the game, all without the use of official tools, is simply incredible. For instance, my V featured on the thumbnail and various other 4K enhancements I downloaded for the entire game, I probably spent at least 10 hours of free time browsing through the mod directory, finding the perfect gloves and hair and textures. I mean, you get the picture here. Now, imagine what the community could do with the resources and mod tools to truly create
6 out of
mods
10.
on a massive scale. Also, while we're out here talking the topic of mods, we've seen Powell Sasko, Associate Director for Project Orion, poll the community as to what they want to continue to see brought to 2077, even after Update 2.2 went live, once again confirming there seems to be more incoming. And time again, the community has responded they want to see third person. Now, as recently as March the 2nd, another Unreal Engine tech demo has surfaced, and unfortunately, the link has been downloaded too many times, or I would have recorded this footage myself. But for many, this is the definitive Cyberpunk experience they have been craving. All the grit, all the grime, all the glamour, and of course, all that neon is ever present.
Not bad.
But now we get to see the very character we've sunk hundreds to thousands of hours into creating and role-playing with. There's also the direct comparison between Cyberpunk and The Witcher, which uses the same game engine and was made by the same company, but has chosen completely different perspectives to tell their stories. GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, Fallout New Vegas, and Skyrim are all games I've previously played, and they're all games that incorporated that option to toggle between perspectives. And we'll talk a bit more about Rockstar a little later in this video, but Cyberpunk fans have really been wanting.
Is third person just the superior existence? Are we just better because we choose third person most of the time? Probably, yeah, I would say definitely.
To see more of their V outside of mirrors, cutscenes, or when we're in or on a vehicle. New Game Plus and or a level cap increase is one of mine, if not one of the community's most requested items, as simply raising the max cap and or giving a player the option to start over but to keep a preset amount of items or experience would immediately bring back a flood of players to the game. Imagine being able to reset back to picking between Nomad, Corpo, or Street Kid, but starting off at a level 60 and progressing upwards from there. If we saw player counts increase like they did after what was
great anime,
largely a cosmetics-centered update in 2.2, what would they look like if Virtuous went back into the game files and adjusted, say, the level cap, or introduced a satisfactory version of New Game Plus? Of course, at this point, all of this is just speculation, but at the very least, with 2025 looking the way it does in terms of CD Projekt Red and the release schedule and how far out they are from now, I would expect for the official mod tools to be released. More than likely sooner than expected, especially with another investor's call and statement right around the corner. But of course, all eyes are looking far off to the future. Cyberpunk 2, aka Project Orion, which is another major topic that will be discussed later this month.
Oh man, again, I think it's gonna be woke. Again, the wokeness in gaming is not going anywhere. All of these places that pushed it, bought it, demanded it, They're still there. They're still doing it. They're just now kind of, like trying to fake that it's not there. And I mean, I think it's going to be visible. I think it's going to be visible. We're going to have a game release and, they're going to say, oh, we're not woke, and bam, I'm gay situations in the hundreds. And this is going to be it. I mean, damn.
On that same CD Projekt call, and it's already been announced that Orion will stick to the same vein as 2077 and will again be using first person only, which for some feels like a missed opportunity. A new game set in the Cyberpunk universe, possibly completely separate of our current setting and timelines, and here was the perfect opportunity to move from first person over to third, and also here's the studio's chance to couple that with them moving.
Imagine actually this works. Imagine it's the future. You can have implants and shit, and you choose to be fat.
Moving away from their in-house Red engine over to Unreal. However, that move from Red over to Unreal is not going to come without.
Oh yeah, I have also talked about this. It seems so bad. It doesn't seem smart at all. In fact, the move away from Red engine. It's just, how does that even work, right? How? The Red engine allowed them to do this, and now they're going to use Unreal 5, an engine that everyone wants to use for open world, but doesn't actually suit open world scenarios that much. I mean,
out some growing pains as the studio attempts to learn and train their team to the nuance and differences between these drastically different engines. You see, the Red engine has been developed in-house and iterated over many years, and it's very advanced, has good performance, and it scales extremely well across many cores, which is something many modern game engines, including Unreal 5, still struggle with. However, that cost to maintain and update Red must have proven expensive, since it is proprietary to the CDPR, plus Unreal ships standard these days with many up-to-date and cutting-edge features, and the break from 2077 over to Orion may have proven the optimal time to start fresh with UE5 and try to build up from there. However, for many on PC, me included, the Unreal Engine stutter has become canon for many games that use this engine, as it attempts to compile shaders when entering new areas, and CD Projekt will not only have to learn this new engine, but push to launch a product in Orion as error-free as possible. If anything, as we start to take a look at the timelines here, the Boston studio, which is maining work on Orion.
And there we go. This is effectively the last piece of the puzzle that we currently know. It's the fact that the Orion, aka Cyberpunk 22, is, well, it's in Boston. Yeah. One CDPR studio now is in Canada. The woke shithole called Montreal, I think. And the other one is in America, in the woke shithole called Boston. Have fun. Yeah. I mean, it's over. It's literally over. Is it not? Do you think it's not? I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to be hopeful about Cyberpunk and its future and whatnot, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, Chief. I don't know. Everything sounds currently still bad. Still bad. Still bad. Anyway, that was Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear, 10 out of 10. Bye!